Hey guys, Mr. B here, and in this video we're going to be going over the chapter 11.3 notes on acceleration. So let's get started. First question here it asks us is, what is acceleration? So of course you might be familiar with the word acceleration, and you might know that things that are accelerating are speeding up, but there's a little bit more to acceleration than just simply going faster. Okay, so by definition here, the rate at which velocity changes is what we call acceleration. Just to remind ourselves that velocity is both speed and direction, okay? And it is also a vector. So acceleration then means that anytime you have a change in speed, whether it be speeding up or slowing down, or a change in direction, that would also mean that you are changing your velocity. So that would be an acceleration, okay? So change in speed, change in direction, or both would mean that we are accelerating. And because we are talking about changing velocity, and velocity is a vector, that also means that acceleration is a vector. So anytime that we would have acceleration and we would need to represent it, we can do so by drawing an arrow. All right, continuing on here. Now, as we just mentioned, acceleration is any change in an object's velocity. So that means that we could have a positive change, which would be an increase in velocity, or a negative change or a decrease in velocity, or I guess an increase or a decrease in speed. Okay, this is an important thing to understand because sometimes students will get confused when they see a negative number for acceleration. Now, a positive number is pretty common, and most students would go, oh yeah, of course, to have positive acceleration, that means that they're speeding up. But when they see a negative number, sometimes they'll get confused because they go, well, how do you negatively accelerate? It means you're slowing down, okay? So understand that you can have a negative acceleration. That just means that you're slowing down. That's how we do represent it. An example of acceleration here due to a change in speed is called a free fall. This is where an object is falling solely due to the influence of gravity. So as it falls, it's going to speed up or increase its speed, which should therefore be increasing its velocity, and therefore the object would be accelerating, okay? Now, we don't need to know this number quite yet, but this will come up later in this course, so it might be good to start remembering it now. But the acceleration due to the gravitational field on planet Earth is 9.8 meters per second squared. So that means anything on planet Earth that is falling or accelerating due to gravity will accelerate at a set rate of 9.8 meters per second squared. Okay, that's a constant number. That number will pop up quite a bit again throughout this course, so you might want to start remembering it now, but we won't really deal with it until the next chapter or two. Okay, now again, acceleration means that we are changing velocity, so changes in direction also would mean we are accelerating. This one, again, is not as common for people to think about, but if you turn, you have essentially accelerated because you've changed your direction, and that is a component of velocity and acceleration, okay? So you can accelerate without actually changing your speed. All you have to do is turn. So, and then, of course, we have both, which is where if you change your speed and your direction, you have accelerated because you've changed your velocity. So main thing to take away from this is that not all acceleration deals with speeding up, okay? You can slow down, you can change direction, and you have accelerated. Now, we also have constant acceleration. So when an object is accelerating or speeding up or slowing down, and it's doing so at a set rate, we consider this to be constant acceleration. So constant acceleration would mean that as an object is speeding up or slowing down, it's speeding up or slowing down by a set amount every second. Okay, so the best example I can kind of give you here is think of a car at a stoplight, and as soon as the light turns green, they just floor it and the car takes off. Most cars are going to accelerate at a set rate. So as the gas pedal is pushed down to the floor, the car is going to speed up. Every second, it's going to speed up by the same amount, right, until it reaches its maximum speed. So it could be that at, 1 second, the car is going 15 miles an hour. And then at 2 seconds, it's now going 30 miles an hour. So it's increased by 15. Then at 3 seconds, it's going 45 miles an hour. And then at 4 seconds, it's going 60 miles an hour. So every second that goes by, its speed is increasing by 15 miles per hour, which means that its acceleration is constant because its speed is increasing at a constant rate. Okay, so most acceleration is constant, not all of it, but a lot of it is. And mostly the ones that we'll deal with in this course are constant. So, all right, there are some practice problems, but as always, not going to be going over those in this video. You'll go see me in a different video doing that one. Right now, we're just going to continue going over the information. All right, so when it comes to calculating acceleration, how do we calculate it, right? Is there an equation that goes with it? How do we find acceleration? So because acceleration is, of course, a change in velocity over time, we can calculate acceleration, or I guess straight line acceleration, by dividing our change in velocity over total time, okay? So the equation that we have is going to look something like this, where we have change in velocity over total time, and this velocity change can be represented also by thinking about your final velocity, so your ending speed, minus your initial velocity or your starting speed divided by time. So a lot of times you might have a problem where it says like a sprinter starts off, like at rest, and when the person blows, shoots their little gun or blows their whistle, they take off, and 3 seconds later they're running at 18 miles per hour. What was their acceleration? So we know that their speed started at 0, and 3 seconds later, so total time that has elapsed is 3 seconds. Their speed is 18 miles per hour. So our final speed is 18. Our starting speed is 0. Excuse me. Divide that by 3 seconds. You can find your acceleration, okay? Again, if your velocity is increasing, then your acceleration is going to be a positive number. If your velocity is decreasing, then your acceleration is going to be a negative number, okay? So again, don't be afraid of seeing negative numbers. It just means you're slowing down. All right, now we also, of course, can use acceleration with graphs. In the previous section of this chapter, we talked about motion or distance versus time graphs. In this section, we're going to talk about speed versus time graphs, which are very similar to distance versus time graphs, but instead of graphing distance on the y-axis and time on the x-axis, we graph speed on the y-axis and time. So they look similar, but they give us two different things of information, okay? On a speed versus time graph, your slope is going to tell you acceleration, and on a distance versus time graph, your slope is going to tell you speed. So they tell us different things, okay? But here's an example. So here's a graph that shows two different objects, okay, moving. Now it's a line graph, okay? All these graphs we're going to look at are line graphs. The blue line shows constant acceleration, okay? And again, on this axis, we have speed, and on the x-axis, we have time. So at the beginning of this graph where this blue line is, the speed is 0, which means that the object is not moving. And as time goes on, its speed is increasing from 0 to 10. So as time goes on, its speed is going up by a set rate, which means that it is accelerating at a constant rate. Now let's take a look at the red graph. Okay, the red graph shows that the object is, again, accelerating, because we see an increase in our speed at a constant rate because it's a linear line, it's not curved, okay, it's straight up. And then we hit this flat part. Now, in a distance versus time graph, the flat part here would mean the object stops moving, right? It walked away, now it's standing still. But in a speed versus time graph, this shows that the object is moving. Again, excuse me, long night. In this speed versus time graph, the flat part shows that the object is now moving at a constant speed. So it first started at 0 miles per hour or meters per second. It sped up, okay, its speed increased till it hit this part, and now when it's flat, it's now traveling at a constant rate. So it could be like a car at a stoplight, and it speeds up until it gets to like its cruise control, its cruising speed, and it like puts cruise control on, and it just goes at 60 miles per hour or whatever, right, for the same speed. And then the downward part here shows that the object is now decelerating. So it's now coming to a stop because its speed, oh, did not mean to move that. Its speed is at 8 meters per second, and then it eventually goes down back to 0, so it comes to a stop. Okay, so this graph looks very similar to the ones that we saw in the previous section, but you have to read them different because the y-axis has different information on it than the other ones. Okay, and there's some videos of going over practice on that. Go watch those so you have a better understanding. It's a pretty important part of the chapter. Now, again, in distance versus time graphs, we saw that on the y-axis we have distance, on the x-axis we have time, and if we want to show acceleration, the line would be curved. Okay, it would go up or whatever way. It would curve upwards, which means that we are accelerating. Okay, and in a speed versus time graph, that acceleration is shown just as a straight line. Okay, just going up as a straight line. So understand that, again, distance time graphs can show acceleration. They just do so in a different manner. All right. So last little section here is instantaneous acceleration, which we talked about instantaneous speed in the last section. And what is instantaneous speed? That's the speed of an object, like right now. Okay. Instantaneous acceleration is pretty much the acceleration of an object right now, which most acceleration is instantaneous. It's, usually you're measuring acceleration over a short period of time. You're not usually going to measure average acceleration because it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense, right? It'd be like if I'm going to drive from Watertown to Duluth and I wanted to know what my acceleration was over my 3-hour trip. There's times where I'm speeding up. There's times where I'm slowing down. If I give you an average acceleration, it's not really going to make a whole lot of sense. So most acceleration is instantaneous. It's like right now, how fast are they speeding up by or slowing down by? Okay, so there's really no specific equation or anything for it. It's the same equation as in the previous slides on here. So, okay, so that is it for this section, and that's pretty much it for the chapter. If you have any questions or if you had any confusion on that, again, you can always email me, talk to me in class. We could do some one-on-one time, maybe Google Meet or something, but, just make sure that you're not confused. And pretty much at this point, we will go forward then onto the review. And after that, you have your test. So, all right, guys, that's it for this one. I'm Mr. B. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.